Last time on Shadow Piece, everybody got to take a breather. Recovering and preparing for the next battle went hand in hand. Both Hyrodine and Sanji thought about what to do against their next opponents. For the Giant Sin of Pride, that also included questioning Maria about something yet unrevealed. However, while all of that was going on, the mysteries surrounding Prince Loki kept on building up. Great Detective Brook listened in on a conversation between the trickster giant and an outsider. Brook couldn't really pinpoint who the person was on the other side of the Denden Mushi. The only hints available are his talking style and the design of the Denden Mushi. But as this matter does not yet concern the Strawhat Pirates, the musician did not feel the need to analyze the situation anymore either, and also doesn't think it's necessary to tell his captain just yet. When he returns to the arena area and his seat, everybody is already waiting there for the next round to start. The first semi-final will be between the Fleet of Death's Hyrodine and the heir to the nation of Elbaf, Loki. Much to the Soul King's surprise, Loki is already on top of the battlefield, even though he left earlier than him and is also quite confident in his skeleton speed. The giant representative of our group of protagonists enters the arena a bit later. His face and body are covered in more bandages, but for the warriors it's easy to notice that these bandages are not for the wounds he received in his battle against Tyr. They seem to be even more recent, which results in a lot of murmuring, and even King Odin questioning the circumstances behind it. Warrior Hyrodine, your situation has taken us all aback. Were you perhaps assaulted during the rest periods? To please the Sun God with fair and joyous combat, we can postpone your battle until after the other semi-final. Not even Loki is against his father's offer. Things going on in the background are important, very important in fact, but his giant blood and honor don't just disappear. However, to everyone's astonishment, the tough giant denies the offer. It would have only benefited the Sin of Pride, but with a smile on his face, he just says, "Don't worry about me. These wounds are the key to my victory." He points at Loki. "And you, Prince Shut-In, better be prepared to get blasted by my might." The crowd laughs the confidence being displayed, but the chubby giant doesn't show even the tiniest bit of fear in his expression, much to the glee of his father. While this exchange is happening, Perona is chewing out the captain of her crew about something he did just before the battle. Liv is just sitting there watching the spectacle happening right in front of her. Whatever happened in the small exchange between Maria and Hyrodine was enough to give the Sin of Pride confidence in his victory, but also enough for the Shadow Emperor's daughter to start a lecture for him. Knowing both sides, the check for dirty tactics gets done very quickly. If either side got discovered with cheats, they would never live it down. Especially Hyrodine. He would never dare to betray the rules. He may be a pirate, but in this very moment, he wants to use this tournament to prove the other giants from Elbaf that there is a lot to learn in the outside world. Both warriors are getting backed by people not from Elbaf. Well, it's only really a known fact for Hyrodine, but after Brook's shadowing act, we have learned a bit about Loki as well. King Odin takes a good look at his son. He is proud to see how far he has come. Actually, just seeing him outside of his room is enough to make the old giant smile. With a happy clap, the first semi-final has started. Not giving the chubby giant even a second, Hyrodine rushes in. Left, right, jab, hook. All kinds of punches are being thrown. Looking back at Loki's last battle, Hyrodine has learned that he has to do some specific maneuvers to summon his other versions. To stop that from happening, he won't give him any space. But his attacks aren't connecting. The tricky giant still isn't making it easy for him either. Loki himself is quick to understand this simplistic tactic. Using his powers, he disappears from the space his opponent is attacking. Appearing on the complete opposite side of the arena gives him some time to start his dance. Reacting as fast as he can, Hyrodine spins around 180 degrees and sprints to the other participants. While the battlefield is big, all the remaining fighters are incredibly powerful and also fast. A running jump to further increase the power of his attack. Hyrodine is completely airborne, basically doing a Superman pose, and for some reason Loki just continues to dance. Yes, even if he dodged all of the attacks so far, he didn't show any specific movements. However, this time he just accepts the full brunt force of the strike. He gets pushed to the very edge of the ring and once again cracks can be heard. Giants may have great regenerative powers, but Loki already had multiple fractures on different parts of his body after the fight with Bronya. The deeper we get into the tournament, the shorter the battles will probably last because of all of those exhaustions. Taking the punch may have hurt, but the dance ended successfully in the process. Loki now stands at the edge with 4 other versions of himself surrounding him. However, something is different compared to the time he used it in the previous rounds. His copies all have a slightly annoyed expression on their respective faces. Do they have some sort of internal problem going on? Loki, we told you to only use this technique when completely necessary. The first one shouts at the chubby version we all know. Is all he can bring out before another one interrupts him. Yeah, I was just having dinner with my wife and daughter. I rarely get time to spend together with them. The first to talk has an information box calling him King Loki, ruler of the New World. And the second one's box introduces him as the Fleet Admiral of the Marines. All the other Loki versions are great figures in their own right. Only our Loki was, shut in. But that is exactly why I called you here. I only need to win this fight and tomorrow's finals to get closer to our goal. All you need to do is help me a bit. In unison, a groan leaves the mouths of all the other Lokis. While annoyed, they don't disagree with what chubby Loki just said. The paths they walked didn't lead them to achieve their goals so far, so they cannot judge him for his actions. A third Loki steps up and takes a look at the opponent they are meant to face. Wait a second, is that Thunderfist Hyrodine, one of the 4 emperors? He has a shocked expression on his face, as this information box reveals him as Loki, leader of the biggest bounty hunting organization. After hearing that, even Hyrodine is confused and just points at himself as to show that they are mistaking him for somebody completely different. The confusion and anger of the Lokis quickly subsides, and they are ready to join the Battle of the Winter Solstice Festival tournament. Just like last time, it is obvious that all of the Lokis have different fighting styles. The ways they approach Hyrodine vary widely. They are all the same person, but are still very different. The balance of the battle instantly shifts into the princess's favor. Attacks come from every direction. Now all the Sin of Pride can do is defend himself with his best abilities. Nobody understands the ability, but the way it looks is so entertaining that the audience doesn't even really need an explanation. Some mysteries are best left to be unsolved. Alone the Giants are already incredible, but their teamwork is just magnificent. One of them increases the size of his fist before punching right in front of him. This, however, is not where the member of the Fleet of Death is currently standing. Or is it? Without knowing, Hyrodine's position just changed. It's like he moved forward multiple tens of meters. But he didn't. He is sure of that. Immediately after getting hit by the first fist and flying backwards, he spots another Loki above him. And then an impossible to dodge or guard against attack comes. Up in the air, a Loki is stretching his leg to kick into the stomach of his opponent and also slams him into the ground. As Hyrodine crashes on the floor, he coughs up some blood. The actual Loki wouldn't be capable of these things by himself. He is by no means weak, but a 5 vs 1 is sure to turn things a bit easier. Normal people would despair or maybe just surrender. However, the giant warriors from Elbaf, that also includes Hyrodine, are nothing but normal. In the eyes of a human especially so. As a pirate, Hyrodine is willing to go to any limits, as long as it doesn't conflict with the rules of the tournament. Running away, however, is never an option. That is not even in his vocabulary. This giant is the type of person to take every fight head on. A complete fighting maniac. Chubby Loki isn't just standing back either. Together with his comrades, an onslaught of attacks ensues. They also receive a bit of damage from counters, but it's clear to everyone that they are in control of the flow of the battle. You guys impress me every time you come to this place, and this really isn't even your full power? Prince Loki is feeling confident enough to hold a conversation with his other versions. They all act in unison again, and shake their heads, until Fleet Admiral Loki explains it to the unaware royal. When coming here, we get limits to the strength, speed and endurance of your body. As you are by far one of the weakest Lokis I have ever met, that means that we are extremely limited. A gut punch to his ego, but ego doesn't matter, only results do. That is what Loki, the user of the awakened shift fruit, thinks. And for the wanted results, the Prince of Elbaf is willing to go whatever lengths necessary. And this marks the end of today's episode of Shadow Piece. Here you have it, the reveal of Loki's Devil Fruit. It's the shift fruit. I think some of you might have been onto that idea already a few episodes ago with the whole multiverse thing that has been going on, but the shifting part has also been hinted a lot. Whenever I described Loki's powers and also some other things happening around Elbaf, I used specifically the word shift, even though I could have used many different words as well that might have even fit a bit better, but I wanted to put a few teasers here and there. So, the first semi-final has started and Hyri is already on the receiving end of a lot of damage, but will he be able to turn it around? Maybe he learned something really useful from Maria in the break time, but all of that is going to be something you need to learn in a future episode of Shadow Piece, because that's all from me for today. All that's left to be said is stay happy, stay healthy, and most importantly, stay cultured. Pyro out. Bye!